welcome to Norwegian Crafts Institute. We are humbled to have and excited to have such wonderful guests coming from an NGO in Bulgaria. It's very nice. So thank you for bringing them. We are always curious about how other organizations work and how your methodology and how you work in order to preserve and to pass on traditional crafts. So I'm sure there will be a lot to learn, and we would also like to hear from you. But let me just say some word first about and start to give you an introduction to our institute. This is Kjetil. He works with me at the institute. We are in total 8 persons, and which are the regular staff. And or 9 is now. 9 we are now, and then we have 6 scholarship students. So in total we are 15 persons. Not everyone is here, as you can see. We only met, I think, 4 or 5, 6 persons with me and you. Yeah. But there are always people are always traveling around, working, doing documentation where the craft people are. And our scholarship students, they work from their workshops, so they are not here. Or tomorrow they will be here, but not today. First, we start with the presentation, which you can follow on the screen. We have a support. We are supported, funded by the government. So we receive funding from both the Ministry of Culture and the Ministry of Education. So this is the most important sources to our work and our activities. We were established in 1987, so we have been going on for more than 30 years. But we also receive fund from, well, there are trusts and others. There are EEA grants program, which you probably know very well, and so there are always also funding from outside in addition to the regular funding. But to have something in the bottom is very important. So the funding that we receive from the government is really important. Well, we use a term called action-born knowledge, which describes how the term, we use the term to describe how the crafts is always in persons and in the action and in the activities. So it describes how the crafts best are passed on to a new generation through practice, through repetition, learning from somebody who knows to somebody who don't know or know a little less. This is the classic master-apprentice relation. But over time, the knowledge will be, hopefully, passed on when they are working together. It's like when Per learned how to knit when he was a little child. He sat down with his grandmother and they were knitting together.
Have you seen the product?
No, maybe not the best example. But when my daughter learned how to knit the knitting, she sat down with my mother and they were knitting together, and over time the knowledge was passed on, and now my mother is unfortunately passed away, but my daughter, she's a knitting master.
Iliana too.
Yeah, and you too. Yeah. So this is a wonderful thing. So this is the way that this has been passed on through generations, and you cannot learn these things by reading a book or by watching a video on YouTube. The best way is always through action. Like, that's why we call it the action-born knowledge. So on all levels that we work, if it's towards children or it's for on a higher level of craftspeople, we always use the practical approach to the learning process, and this is why we use this term action-born knowledge, because that's typical not only for craft but for all this. If you know that, I know that Bulgaria has ratified the UNESCO 2003 convention, the Convention for Intangible or Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity. And the crucial here is that all these types of, or this, what do they call it? Domains of the convention. There are 5 domains in the convention, and traditional crafts is only one of them, but for all of these domains, if it's traditional music or dance, or if it's the oral tradition, it's always best passed on through to a new generation through practice, and this is very crucial for the convention, and it's crucial for our work and our activities and our models and the way that we work. I think this is really important, because intangible cultural heritage is always in people. It's always in persons. It's not in a book, and it's not. You cannot store it in a basement. You can store, like if it's like cultural heritage, like objects, like this chair. You can preserve this chair, putting it in a basement, in a special temperature and humidity, which is perfect for the chair to survive for 200 years. But if I want to safeguard Per, I cannot lock him into the basement. It's not a good way. It's not a good way of safeguarding the living process, like, because it's always in persons. So you need a different model for safeguarding of intangible cultural heritage than you can use on physical objects. So I think this is when I explain it, I think it's pretty clear. But when it comes to the school system and other education system, well, sometimes they try to make narrow or shortcuts, and they think that maybe we can do this in another way. Maybe we could just make a video, and we have preserved it, and maybe we can write a book about it, and then it's safeguarded. But it's not like that. It's because it's so. Sometimes the traditional craft is so complex. The complexity of traditional craft is so. It's important that it has to be. You have to do it in practice. So this is important. Yeah, well, it started with a register of craftspeople. I think I made my point about the action-born knowledge. The register of craftspeople. Well, we have 2,700 craftspeople, traditional craftspeople, all from all over Norway, registered in this register today. So, and it's the craftspeople themselves can register. You can search the craftspeople on web, online, and we have been doing. This is where it all started. It gives us an overview of craftspeople in traditional crafts and techniques. So it's the small and rare crafts, but it's also smaller techniques within the frames of the larger crafts, like timber construction, for example. You have this is for the traditional craftspeople. So it's for people who work with traditional timber constructions. It's boat builders. It's the hand weavers. It's blacksmiths, silversmiths. These types of traditional crafts.
And also a cook.
And also a cook. We also have a cook there. Yeah. But yeah, so we're very proud of this register. It's quite unique, at least in Europe. We had a project with Romania, and in Romania they were so inspired by this, so they started their own register for craftspeople. But I mean, they have now they are very happy. I think they have like 600 craftspeople. So I mean,
that's a start.
It's a good start. It's a good start, and they do it. Actually, I think their register is looks a bit nicer than ours because, well, you know, it's different starting something. It's a different thing starting something in like 35 years ago and starting something yesterday. You have different possibilities, which is yes.
So what was the goal of this project? So, or they started from zero? They had no register list for in Romania. Yeah, they had no register.
They started
list.
from zero.
They have their own institutes or associations of craftsmen.
They have an institute. There is the Institute at Promenel. I think it's called. It's the Directorate for Cultural Heritage, which in Romania is both responsible for the intangible and tangible cultural heritage, which is a good thing maybe because sometimes we have to see these different types of cultural heritage to see them together. But anyway, this register is good and it's helped them to get to work. It gives us an overview and also for training it's important. Like when you are going to organize training or workshops or other where you need teachers, it's good to have this register. Or people just want to they need somebody to have a course or teach a class, or they want a new boat, traditional wooden boat like this, or they want their house painted in a traditional way. It need a wood carver. It's a very good thing. But it doesn't help us actually. It gives us an overview, but it doesn't help us for safeguarding. It doesn't help for safeguarding because it gives us an overview. So what we saw, that there was a lot of old people, old craftspeople, who were about to pass away. They were like 80, 90, almost 100, and they were old. And as we say, an old craftsman is like a burning library. You have to go in there and do the job and pass on the knowledge to the new generation while the craftsman or the woman is alive. So this is really important. An old craftsman is like a burning library. So if you are going to remember one thing from today, it's good to have that saying. It's something that you should tattoo on your back. Well, we do some projects, and Kjetil here, he's responsible for our projects. We have about 30 projects every year where older craftspeople work together with a younger generation. So the best way to do it is one-to-one, like the apprentice and the master working together. And it's also similar for the project is that we... Hi! Okay, so now, how this is Anna. She has been outside do some documentation.
Yes, filming.
Got it.
Okay, so we have about 30 projects every year. Some of the projects are huge projects. This can be building a boat, building a house, traditional ways, and some of them can take more than a year. Some can take like 5 years or 6 years. But most of our projects is smaller projects. So we just, like you could be making slippers out of straws with an old person, or it could be making some weaving techniques, or it could be about different things. But it could also be, we have all kinds of sizes of projects. And some international projects we are also participating in. We have been a partner in different EA grants program in Czech Republic, in Hungary, not in Hungary because that was cancelled because of the Norwegian policy, but in Bulgaria, And we have been, I told you about Romania, in Latvia, twice in Latvia, in Slovakia, yes, and now in Slovakia. So we have been working different on international. We also worked with India and in Iceland and on different international projects. We always try to have one or two international projects that we work on.
I think I saw some pictures of you from Africa.
That's me. I'm going to Africa now, next month. Yeah.
Where?
So-
Africa is a partner for this project.
Yeah, good. No, we're going to Botswana. It's the 18th committee meeting for the Convention of International
Yeah, I saw that.
Humanity.
Very interesting.
Yes. So, but anyway, enough about Africa. We have projects in most of our projects. 90% of our projects is in Norway, but we also have something in other countries. So, but we had good carving classes in India, for example. It has been very interesting to see how they work there, and how they do for passing on the knowledge to a new generation. Okay.
We do have a project with Ukraine.
Ukraine, yes. Now we have a project with Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. They are coming. They are coming here on Thursday, so they are going to make an exhibition. Not here, but in Fredrikstad, which is a small city close to the Swedish border. And they are coming 12 persons. And we're going to have a workshop with them, and they're going to make an exhibition. So they're going to be making these eggs, pisanka, the decoration of traditional Ukrainian, or I suppose maybe I think you have this traditional painting of eggs, decoration of eggs. I think it's I think this is in Central Europe. That's common tradition. Yeah. You don't do it? The decoration of eggs?
We'll do it, yes.
You do it? Yeah. So we are not so good at it, but they are good in Ukraine. So they will have a teacher class, and then they're also for musical instruments. They have this traditional musical instrument that they make, so they will also teach master class in that. Okay, so we have a project now which I want to talk to you about because it's a big project, and it's funded by the. We have this bank trust, saving banks trust in Norway that has contributed to this. So we have young people under 25 years. They are given the possibility to work for 6 months after their period, after they have the craft certificate level. They can work for 6 months at a museum. So we will pay their salary, and they can stay around somewhere at the museum in Norway. So, and the museums, they really want to have these young craftspeople coming because it's so nice for the public coming around, and they see there's a young person showing how to be a blacksmith, or they can demonstrate, and they really know what they are doing. Because they are actually real craftspeople. Sometimes people at the museum, they pretend that they do something, but in this case it's actually people who knows what they are doing, and that is a good thing. And it's young, so it's also tempting for younger generations to be, well, then think, maybe we should be craft, maybe we should go into the branch of traditional craft. Maybe that is something, because it's much. I mean, sometimes when you come into a museum, there's an old man, 80 years old, standing in the dark corner, hammering on a piece of metal. But this is something else. This is something that really inspires a young generation. So it's a good thing, and we are going to go on with this for 5 years. And we started with the eastern part of Norway, and now we are doing it all over Norway. Museums all over Norway. So it's good for the craftspeople, because the young craftspeople, when they just had their diploma, they need to get started. They need connections. They need to connect with their branch. They need to connect with others, other craftspeople. They need to know the museums to see their collections, and so it's a good thing. And we have seen that this has actually, for the craft people who have been through this, this has opened the market for them. They are hired back to the museum later, or they are asked if they can produce things for the museum workshops. So this is it's a really good program.
The tall guy that was standing in the door when he came here is Leonard. He's a blacksmith in this program. So hopefully he'll be back in the blacksmith afterwards when we take
when you have the tour, maybe you can say
maybe be able to see him in practice. You will also be meeting her.
Yeah,
Actually.
yeah, we have a special responsibility for some small traditional crafts. In Norway, it's like we have 40 crafts, 40 different crafts, which are regarded as particular crafts for safeguarding. So it's like it means they are threatened. There are just a few practitioners. There is not much training, and they need some extra help to get going. So that's why the Ministry of Education, they have a list of 40 different crafts, and so that this is crafts that need extra protection, where we need to do something extra. So
This is a register for a protection craft.
yes,
40.
yeah, crafts in particular worthy for protection. So what in practice it means that they receive when they are organizing training to a new generation with the younger craftspeople working together in the workshops with a trained craftsman or the master. They get some extra funding for this. So they need they need some extra help to organize it. It's much easier for a large company to organize training of younger craftspeople than it is for this old craftsman working with somewhere alone. It takes extra energy and resources. So this is a way of safeguarding it. So today it's 40. Maybe it will be next year. It might be 42 or 41. We don't know. It's changed every year. So sometimes crafts will disappear from the list, and then there are some new ones coming in. And this is, but it's good to have this, because when we have this list, we know that these are crafts that need some extra attention. So we should be, for us also here at the Institute, it's just that it means that this is something that where we have to be extra. It's of great importance.
Okay, a question.
Yeah.
It's like when someone goes off the list, it's either because they have more people working in the craft, or the last one is gone forever, and so there's no more craftsmen in that particular craft. Is that like how they go off the list? And can you take someone if the craft is extinct? Can you get it back on to get a new master?
Previously, before, there was very clear criteria for being on this list. And one of the criteria was that if it was more like 5 new contracts every year for apprentices, and this was over a period of 3 years, and it was like more than 15 over 3 years, they would take it out of the list. But now they have removed that point, because they saw that, well, if the safeguarding measures actually work, it may be wrong to take it out of the list. Like if it's like 18 blacksmiths over a period of 3 years, you shouldn't really remove it. It's still a traditional craft, and it still needs special attention. So they have removed that criteria now. So the other criteria is that when the branch themselves say that, well, we don't need this crafts anymore. This has happened twice. One is the tanner. The tanners in Norway, they said that, well, we'll take it out. We don't need a craft certificate level for tanners anymore. And then there was the other example is that the not a watchmaker, but watchmaker. The people who works with the big clocks
The big clocks,
in the churches, and they said that we don't need these crafts anymore. It's like for some reason they said that, and then of course they listened to them in the ministry. They said, okay, we'll take it out, and now they regret both the tanners and the watchmakers, and. But now it's the fight to get it back into the list. So we'll see. And then the third example is that so that was when the Browns themselves said it. The third example is that you have some crafts that we really should have into the list, but they are not there, and we need some time to make a new plan for training and everything. And there's from time to time there are crafts going into the list. It's like the rope makers. Some years ago they got into the list, and it was regarded the crafts where you could have the training program and a craft certificate level. So this is an example, and another example that is not in the list but should be there is the traditional Norwegian fiddle makers, the harding fiddle, which you maybe have heard, and you maybe still have nightmares about it if you have heard it. It's really a rough sound from the harding fiddle. You haven't heard it? No. It's a really special. It's a special fiddle that we have a special tradition for in Norway, and it's a bit strange sound. So you will not. I suppose you will not like it first time you hear it. Maybe not the third or the fourth or the fifth time either. But there are some people who enjoy harding fiddle music.
They are in tune with bagpipes actually, so they can.
Some of this.
Some people in the larger cities consider the songs to be like when you're slowly killing a cat.
Yes.
But I think it's beautiful.
Yeah. They like
acquired taste.
Yeah.
Slowly killing a cat is beautiful. So.
In small portions.
It's a central instrument in
I cannot see the parallel, but
yes, it's a central instrument. But we don't have a training program for it, and it should really be one of the crafts. And we are working on that now because it's a good possibility to do it now. Then it's the. Did I say 3 things? I can say 4. There's also, just to answer your questions, because there are also crafts that are has been on the list because they have been threatened and small, but on the same time they have not been regarded as traditional crafts. So they have been removed also from the list. So that's why 2 years ago it was 42 different crafts, and now it's only 40 because they have removed 2 of the crafts which was small but not and rare, but in not traditional crafts. So now it's a list purely for the small and rare traditional crafts. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Examples of these crafts. Making. Did I say something? I could say we can have. It's like a tanner. Not a tanner because that's removed. The blacksmith, the silversmith, traditional silversmith, the cooper. Cooper, you know what the cooper is? Yes. The wood carver.
Yeah.
Made in
Boat builder, traditional boat builder, wooden boat builder.
Okay.
So then it's the scholarship students we have. That's a 3-year scholarship scheme. Craftsmen already on a high level. It's like a PhD for craftspeople. So they are on a really high level. They are given the possibility to work with the crafts for 3 years and doing a deep dive, like research, practical research in their craft. So we want them to become like lighthouses of their crafts. Do you have lighthouses in Bulgaria?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, you have a coastline. Of course, yes, of course you have lighthouses. Okay, so you know what the lighthouse is. We are trying to. So they are working 3 years, and we have them in all kinds of traditional crafts. This is a boat builder on top there. Then it's a carpenter
Maybe
and a
power.
maker of traditional guitars.
Ските.
Yeah. So this is 3 examples, but we had a lot of different crafts involved, or the craftsmen working with scholarship students in different kinds of crafts. We had, of course, blacksmith, makers of traditional folk costumes, masonry, carpenter, yeah. Filigran, yes.
Ah.
Silversmith, the traditional silversmith. You say filigran? Filigran, and also in Bulgaria. Is that the international?
We do have
English word.
Good boy.
Филигран.
Yeah.
Като
So,
сребърите.
and of course the boat
Сребро
builders.
правят.
Като тези, които изработват сребърни бижута,
So
това
it's
е
very
филиграни.
popular.
А,
We,
Да, бижутерите.
we have two craftsmen or crafts persons every year, and they new ones every year, and we receive about between 40 and 60 applications every year. So it's very popular. We can only take 2, so it's always 6 craft people in this machinery. So it's a good thing. It's very, very popular. And we've been doing it since '95.
And we'll be meeting Hege, one of them, basket maker afterwards.
Yeah, we have a basket
She's doing a workshop in my home today, so we can hopefully find her and see what they are doing.
Yeah, fine.
Hvor kort tid på de skal ha et tog som går 3 minutter over 3.
Ja.
Okay, yeah.
Da stiller vi oss inn på det.
Det går tog enda, gitt.
Faktisk.
Du har ikke greid å nedlegge det, jeg.
Yeah. Then we have this gathering twice a year, spring and autumn. We gather the Crafts Norway organizations and persons who are interested in crafts, craftspeople and representatives from organization, and we discuss different, if there are items on the agenda that it's important to meet and to see if we are going to communicate it together. So we have made this board of references where we decide the themes that are important. And what is good there is that all these organizations that work with crafts in Norway can come together and we can discuss things that are important for everyone. And then we can see, is this something that we should highlight together? And to the government, for example, we can say that, well, you should really increase the number of scholarship students, or you should and the whole Norwegian crafts community stands behind this view. So that's really important for us. So it's a good way to also have contact with the other organizations and also hear the voices of the craftspeople who are here. So this is, and we do it different places in Norway. So we had it in from high north and to south. We haven't yet been in Østerdalen.
We can facilitate that.
We can help you organize that.
Yep.
Yeah, we can put that on the list. But we have from else. Well, we have not been where Per lives, but everywhere else in the north. So we have been doing this for, I think we had more than 30, or we had 29 gatherings around different places in Norway so far. So this is for us very important to have this connection with the community. You know, also from the Convention of Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage. This community term is really important. So we need to be in contact with the craftspeople and the organization who have the daily activities in the field. Then it's the convention, We are trying to do the best we can to share experiences with safeguarding of the intangible cultural heritage and develop our methodology and our practice. So we have established with funding from the Nordic Ministries of Culture, we have received funding for established the website for the Nordic countries, where they can share from the NGOs, where they can share their experiences for safeguarding of different kinds of intangible cultural heritage. And it started with an initiative from the Nordic countries, but then the Baltic countries, they came and knocked on the door and said that, well, we also want to be a part of this. So you have to include us, and then we also involve them. And now it's for the Nordic and the Baltic countries. And we also received interest from Austria, from Czech Republic, and from Romania, and yeah, so we might expand. But at this point, it's only the Nordic and the Baltic countries. But we are open-minded people. So if you say that we want to join this, we can discuss it. If you have some nice examples of safeguarding practices for intangible cultural heritage, we have been very active. Working with the convention. We were the first Nordic association, or the first NGO that was accredited by UNESCO as for advisory services in 2009, and we are so far the only one from the Nordic countries that has been elected into the evaluation body in UNESCO, where we served between 2015 and 19. So we are we are quite experienced reading files and know this convention by the heart. The new publication now, which is going to be on traditional storytelling, which is I'm very excited to see how it will begin. It's unfortunately it hasn't received here yet, but it's going to be printed in Korea, so it's just around the corner. So maybe you just came 1 week early, too early to see it.
Have to come back then.
Yeah. But this web portal, the safeguardingpractices.com, where you can see the safeguarding practices, you should really check that out. It's really interesting, and I think, well, when we had this cooperation with Romania, they were really eager to do something. Why don't we do something in the Central Europe for this? We should make our own register. So there are initiatives coming, but this is a good model, and we have so far more than 60 inscriptions on this list. So you can go in there and you can see, for example, you can search by country, or you can search by domain. Like you can search by traditional crafts, or you can search by oral traditions, and you can go in and you can find examples of safeguarding from the Nordic and the Baltic countries. So it's a good tool to have.
I think that Bulgaria should see the challenge.
Yes.
If you look at the tools, the presentation of the safeguarding practices, where they come from, and you go to the bottom left there.
Yeah, there's an empty space there.
Yeah, go to the bottom left. You see,
Yeah,
it is something that many people do not recognize. Standing, Åland, what the heck is that? That's some small islands between Sweden and Finland. They are not a country recognized, but they have their own flag, and they are very proud of their old traditions.
Yeah.
Should be enough, and you should be that in Bulgaria too. You have a lot to present.
This is what we've been talking about, yeah?
You see the open spaces waiting for you.
Okay, so opening the question, like this, who can join this convention? Because if you say Bulgaria, this
Bulgaria
is
has
kind of
joined
large.
the convention. Bulgaria has always has joined the convention. You have ratified the convention.
I mean, with this convention where,
Oh yeah, you mean the list over safeguarding practices?
yeah,
Yes. Well,
because the other is too large for us. We're not
if you have some good safeguarding practices that you want to share, please.
And how could we share those practices? By showing them on video or sending masterpieces of.
But it's not examples of intangible cultural heritage. It's examples of safeguarding practices, of the ways of safeguarding. So what we are sharing is not examples of the elements themselves, or it's not like pisanka or traditional boat building. It's ways of safeguarding traditional boat building. If you have examples or methodology that you have used, which has been successful, it's important to share it with others. So this is why we have this overview.
The methods to keep.
Yeah, the methodology or the methods, the framework,
How do you
the
keep it
programs.
alive?
Yeah.
I want to ask about one interesting craft, because you are it's close to Santa Claus, but in Bulgaria
close.
there, in Bulgaria there is some interesting craft. Maybe one person stay in Bulgaria and make this. The craft make glass figures for Christmas tree and called стъклодухане.
Glass blowing.
Типично за България.
Yeah, glass blowing.
Не, за това казвам. Is there
That's one of our small and protected crafts.
Yeah.
That's just one of the small. I told you about this list. The small crafts, like the basket making. It's also the making of glass, blowing glass. That's the glass blowers. You can see here there is a book here.
Yes.
No, this one. Oops.
Well, these are actually gifts for you, so
Yeah, you can keep it.
one for each.
So you can see on the front page there's a glass blower.
Нека да в началото.
Yes. We made video. We made video for 16 crafts from Bulgaria
Yeah, there was
in our YouTube channel for maybe 2-3 minutes. It's enough for how making this.
It was an initiative of Plovdiv Association of Crafts. They unite about 20 crafts there. And we were asked to make a small video films for each craft so that they can market it.
That's
And can create interest towards either the craftsman or the products.
So you make awareness of the crafts. Now you make to have a methodology to keep the crafts continue and not die. And if you make that, then it's possibility to work with this organization. But it's not only documenting it, it's also make sure that it survives for the next 100 years. What kind of methodology? How do you pass it on from a master to apprentice? How do you do it? How do you keep it alive? This is what it's about.
Sure.
I can
It's
tell
much
you
broader
that
context.
you are now in a county in Norway called Innlandet, the inland. It is composed from 2 older counties, and the largest tourist attractions in both the old counties is places where they are blowing glass.
Yes.
In this county, where Lilehhammer is, it was Hadland. Hadland Glassverk, where they're preparing something while blowing glass. And in Hedmark it was Magnor. People say that it must be the big mountains and the beautiful nature. No, the biggest tourist attraction for many years has been where they are blowing glass.
Yes. Because Chinese figure is
And for the Christmas decorations that you talked about, it's there was an inscription on the international list, on the UNESCO representative list of untouchable cultural heritage of the humanity. There was the inscription, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, from Czech Republic on Christmas decoration, traditional Christmas decoration. So this is something that you could look into and see what they have what they have done it and how they have described it. So, but if you have only one man who is doing it, well, you should really don't lock him into the basement, but give him an apprentice.
we keep this man. Not so interesting for young people from Bulgaria. How is in Norway? Does it have interest from young people to learn and work with craft?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
And it's increasing.
It's increasing, yes.
Yeah. So it's increasing, and I think it has to be with the green shift. It has to be connected. I think it's connected to the green shift, that it's a growing interest. People want to be more connected to nature.
Yeah.
And it's also I think it's also a sort of a riot, because young people, some are tired of getting their iPads in the schools and working with computers, do everything through a screen. They want to do things in real life. So then it's I think that's also a reason that for traditional craft among young people in Norway is growing.
We were discussing yesterday, you remember, and I said 3 times, I think, the boring schools are killing this.
Yeah.
We should build up new learning arenas to really get the practice that must be needed. And people are saying yes, but nothing happens. We need some project that are really focusing, and we invite Bulgarians to join. We are trying to get that organized for next season of Erasmus, to try to join forces in Europe to build up new learning arenas where people from Bulgaria, for example, could say, I would prefer to go to Sweden to meet people in my crafts there and learning by doing.
So your workshops.
Yeah. Many people around in Europe now are really wanting to build up some new learning arenas, but no, schools are schools and they are come to stay. Okay, let them kill us.
Consumerism is slowly kind of being not popular anymore, because you would like to know the whole way of doing it, and in the way of nature and the old way. So you have like a new trend coming up. People are more conscious.